Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the Madeira acoustic back on the bench today. I know we strung it up last time. We went through some stuff on it, just really evaluating it. We're gonna get after the saddle today. I don't like what's going on there. We're gonna open it up. I'm certain that I can make the saddle that I have for it. I cut one to the correct length because the other one was sliding around a lot. I want to keep the height adjustment there, but the string action was so high that I went with I sourced one out of my parts bin, and I cut down the saddle thusly and the right length. So let's get to work. And remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Madeira by Guild. Today we're going to finish it up. We're going to clean the frets. We're going to oil the board. We're going to wipe it all down, but before we do that, I've had a set of strings on it in the previous video. The other saddle that was in here was too loose. It slid back and forth a lot, as you can see, the lateral movement there, and damn tall. So I cut it down, I would say a good 2.5 millimeters. We were reading over 8/64 on the string height. That's just way too high. I mean, I can live with 6, but 8 is way too high. And this one fits in there. Not only I got the right length, because this one was too short by, I would say, an eighth of an inch. The height was too long, too tall, and the width, the actual width that goes inside this adjustable bridge piece, was too short. And this one fits in there snugly, and it does not move laterally any longer. So that's good. Let's get the strings back on. Actually, before I do that, because I don't want to have to put the strings on and take them off again if I can avoid it, we may get lucky, and that height that I got on that new saddle is going to be good enough to make it a playable instrument. It was unplayable at the height that it was at before, but if I have to take it down more, I can. I still have at least another millimeter or 1.5 millimeters to go if I wanted to lower it even farther. So that being said, let's just kind of get some of our stuff out of here, get the guitar all the way in the movie. We're going to clean it up and do the board as I usually do. You know how I do this. I'm going to do fret eraser on it just because I can and I have the stuff off. Let's get it done while it's here and the strings are off. And then I'm going to oil the board, and then we're going to wipe it down really good. If I get lucky and I don't have to pull, I think I'm going to glue that too. That's a string, the hole that holds the, I might put a dollop of super glue in there. The hole that holds the truss rod cover in there is kind of cracked. I noticed it the other day. Pretty basic stuff. I'm only going to do one pass on this. I'm not going to get hung up doing this for 1.5 hours, and I certainly don't want to waste a whole bunch of video time on it. I'm only going to use the 1000 grit and get it done quickly. At least get some of that tarnish off. The next time, whoever restrings it up can do a full fret dressing on it. They're actually not that bad for as long as this has been languishing. I'm going to pause quickly while I get to the end of the fretboard here do all the frets. I'll be right back. 1 second. They polished up nicely. I just did 1000 grit all the way up, but like I said, while I have the strings off this time, and if I get lucky and don't have to take them off again after we do the saddle repair and adjustment, we won't have to take them off just to do this. It'll already be done. And this is necessary. This thing has been languishing for who knows how long, and it's dry. I don't like that. You know my mantra. I go on and on and on about boiled linseed oil. Some of my customers have actually started to listen to me and get some for themselves, which is a smart play. Treat your own instrument well, or you can bring it to me. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. And of course, we let that sit for a moment or two. And then we're going to take it off. I think this board was not in bad shape, and neither were the frets. The frets cleaned right up. Sometimes I leave it on longer, but video time, I really want to get to the meat of the issue here. But this is definitely going to help it. I mean, you can already see the difference, as always with boiled linseed oil. When you oil the neck, it just brings it back to life. You can see that. I mean, it's self-explanatory. And why not? Why wouldn't you? Doesn't that look prettier? Yeah, of course. So, saddle, again, I think I'm going to roll with this. I don't know that I dare go much lower. I was thinking I was going to go at least 2 millimeters. Let's see if we can guesstimate if it even is 2 millimeters. If it's not, I'm going to sand it down some more. I think 3 would probably be too much. It is, survey says, 1, 2. It's just a skosh more than 2 millimeters. I'm going to call that an executive decision and keep it at that height. If I have to take it down farther, I know I have a little bit left. And then, of course, we're going to have to probably make some new slots, but that's not a big deal because these slots are not going to line up with where the strings are going to want to sit on there, and that just takes a little bit of it'll put a dent in there. All right, strings. This is always fun once you've had them on once already. You never want to just pop up. Oh, it popped right out. No wire of me, of course. I don't know what these cardboard pieces were on there before that they had down under that saddle, but I put a proper shim in there. If those screws are going down, they're not actually hitting the top of the body. It's always fun once you've already had them on there once to get them back on again, but maybe they won't fight me too bad. I can already tell it's going to be 1,000 times better. Even before we have full string tension on it, I can already tell the action is going to be better. And I have not much, but a little bit more to cut if I need to. So stand by while I get the rest of the strings on. Then we're going to take some measurements, and then it's a matter of a setup and clean the guitar. Stand by. Okie dokie, so we are back, strung up, none of the strings broke, they all cooperated. And I like the string spacing. They fell right into where they belong, and eventually they'll cut their own slots in the new saddle. New saddle is centered perfectly between the adjustments here. Now the big thing is, are we gonna nice sounding little guitar. We're gonna go back and retune it again shortly, but what I really want to see is where our string height is. Remember, we were at over 9/64 on string height, which is, yeah, acoustics are a little higher, but let me tell you something, that's way too high. You're at 4, 5, 6, just over 6. Coming right down to 6, right at 6. Yeah. So it's tailing off as it should. I think I can still bring it down. It's a little higher than even, and still it's just above 6 on the treble side and right at 6 down here. That's playable, but I think the next time this guitar gets restrung, we're gonna knock that down some more. I'm not gonna take the strings off for 1/64 over here. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm curious. I like the way this guitar sounds. It's not super loud, but you know what? It's all together. It's all there. We have one grain crack right here that kind of goes across there that opened up as I strung it up, but that's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to do anything. You can waste some time and try to inject a little CA glue down in there, but you have to do it with the pegs and the strings on it, because that's what opens the crack up when you put pressure on it. I'm not going to get in a twist over that. I've seen it a million times. Doesn't do anything, doesn't affect anything. The next step is to let it sit for a day or two and check the tuning as we get on the guitar every once in a while, and make sure it's holding tune. It's always a shame to see a guitar like this that just gets, for lack of a better term, orphaned or abandoned. And it's not a bad instrument. I mean, it needed some work, and the average person probably wouldn't have known what to do with it, but it was not a big deal to do what I did. I cut a new saddle for it, and I put a proper not even a shim underneath the metal part of the saddle, because it sits right on the body. Poor design in my opinion, but that's the way it is, and I didn't want these screws digging in. If we ever have to raise the action, which is doubtful, I don't want them digging into the top of the guitar. But you can see it shines right up. It was dirty, but you know what? It feels nice now. Just needed that top layer of gook taken off. I'm going to finish wiping it down, and we're going to call this one playable. It's going to go back to where it came from. I'm not going to bore you with the gory details, but I basically brought it here to prove and film it that it could be brought back to life, and it is not necessary for it to suffer the fate that it was going to suffer. So I'm Blackjack with 396 Guitars. Thanks for hanging in there. This is another success, the Madeira by Guild. Old, it's bordering on an antique. It's definitely vintage. Plays, you heard it. It sounds great. I'm going to continue to check it throughout the days, make sure it stays in tune. I don't see why it wouldn't. The bridge is not lifting. There's nothing to say it would do that, but I'm going to call it a success Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We'll talk soon.